Welcome, welcome, welcome to another Spiritual Awakening with yours truly, Dr. A.G. Green Sr. Tag and share, share and tag, tag and share, share and tag. Let family and friends, even frenemies, know that we're on the air. So excited and delighted, as usual, as is my customary emotive experience whenever I'm streaming and have an opportunity to talk to you. What a blessing, what an honor, what a privilege it is. Thank you again for tagging and sharing and tagging. I'm going to Facebook now so I can see who's on Facebook, and I see they're coming into YouTube as well. Thank you, tag, share, and text. We're going to pray. Almighty, so thankful for all that is happening and occurring in us and with us, projecting into a three-dimensional, solidified, crystallized experience. And we just bless you for these precious, precious moments. And we seize now all of the information that comes out of the divine, the infinite recesses of God and universe. We thank you for our ability to explore them, our ability to apprehend them, our ability to apply them. Thank you by your grace. And we praise you in this moment that we are evolving, transforming, and ascending. By Yeshua's name, power, way, consciousness is how we flow and how we go. It is so. So it is. Thank you for inviting people to Spiritual Awakening with yours truly. Again, Dr. A.G. Green. Follow me at the social media handles you see at the bottom of the screen at A.G. Green Now, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. And also make sure you visit our other YouTube channel, The Divine You, which is where the podcast, the video version of the podcast is right now. So glad again to see you connecting and checking in on this particular day, no matter what time of day it is. Even if you're watching me in replay, comment, connect. Let us know that you are here. I'd like to remind you that you are the offspring of a creator, a source, a sustainer that is responsible for all existence. Its very DNA, its very spiritual blueprint is attached and fused to yours. You are not some creature of the earth. You are a divine spiritual species. Therefore, you are. And so I want you to speak out loud and then simultaneity type in the comment section, I am power. Even the biblical text says, now to him that is able to do exceeding abundantly above all that we ask or think, according to the power that worketh in us. Marianne Williamson helps us to understand that there's a great challenge in somehow, some way, acknowledging how great and powerful you are. But on this platform, we are reminded every time we tune in that we are powerful. So I want you to type in the comment section, I am powerful. Come on, type it in the comment section, I am powerful. Oh, what a blessing, what a privilege it is to walk in power, to possess power, to own, to know power. By divine permission, I am powerful. And when you say it right, you can feel the presence of God. You can feel the presence of the Spirit. You can feel what we call the anointing. You can feel that energy surging, that spiritual energy surging through your central nervous system. What a wonderful thing it is to know that I am powerful. Yes, 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 own the power. Recognize the power, for you are powerful. Let's shift gears real quickly. What's good? Tell me, tell me, tell me, tell me, tell me. What's good? What's good? I want to know how your week has been going thus far. We traditionally stream on midweeks, which some folk call hump day, but I am really interested to know, interested in knowing what's good with you. That's basically telling me how you're feeling. Remember, these are all subjective explanations. There's no judgment here. However you feel, that's however you feel. But tell me in this moment what's good. And how has your week been going thus far? All right. Waiting on you to reply. I guess I can tell you I feel and sense empowerment, strength, an inner knowing, and I'm constantly shifting moment by moment. And thus far, I always or would claim this week in this moment as something wonderful. What do you say? See, Hillary says, week has been great, and today has been good and very fulfilling. Feeling very grateful and loved. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. It's nothing like being loved and feeling loved. That's a good point, or a good, I shouldn't say explanation, but a good sentiment to share. Anybody else? What's good? Tell me about your week. What you might consider to be the highs, the lows, or otherwise. Tell me about it. How's work? How are they cheering? Are they chilling? How you feeling? How's your walk? How's your talk? Come on, talk to me. What's good? And then I'm going to get into some teaching, so that I'll make sure that I can do my best to sign off within what I define as a reasonable amount of time. See, my Krista says week has been going, feeling a little tired, pushing through. All right, then. Thank you so much for that. Anybody else want to share how your week has been going thus far? Anybody else want to share? And also notice the pinned comment. You can give at any time. Cash App, $AG Green now. There's even the chime. We're going to eventually We do have on the scrolling ticker how you can give by Zelle as well. Let's see. Melissa says it's been a level up type week. Fire. Wonderful, wonderful. So glad to hear that from everybody. So good to hear that from everybody. So, we've been in a continuing series, and tonight I'm going to focus in and hone in on some specifics uh, of some things that we have been discussing for numerous weeks now. In case you haven't read the blog, I want you to catch up with the blog. I didn't put another one up this week. I'll do one next week. So blog articles, excuse me, 4 blog articles have been put up at patreon.com/AG Green now for you to read. I think I'm going to put up a short video tomorrow about a couple of things. You do have to be at least a free member to see these videos. And as we push or make our way in terms of this push toward taking the majority of our content and placing it on Patreon, we'll start offering higher level information to the higher level tiers of people who support. And understand that your giving and your membership is but a tiny and small investment to access information, to access revelation knowledge, to grow and develop yourself, to draw closer to the creator, source, and sustainer. And so we don't mock and balk at little tiny miniature amounts of money. We just find a way to manifest it. Okay. So I'm going to be talking from uh, the third article in the blog series. I've been kind of breaking these down on Wednesday nights, and the title is Psychological Filters in the Personal Reality Tunnel. And as it relates to change and the filter and how we can change our fate, I mentioned in this particular blog about reality tunnels, the mind being the architect. Then we broke down 4 things that compose a reality tunnel: beliefs, emotions, memories, values. And let me say this real quickly. I want my assistants to put up Mark 9:23 for us. Mark 9:23. We discussed cognitive biases, and I even gave you some examples midweek, I believe, on the cognitive bias, which is also known as confirmation bias. We have negativity bias. We have availability heuristic. We discussed that. We also, I think that was last Wednesday, we discussed memories, the fiction of the past. Boy, that was a powerful, powerful teaching of how our memories are not as accurate as we think they are. They are crude recollections of events. And we don't understand that chemically, uh, over the course of experiences, and when I say experiences, I mean what we call time, the events of a diminished or elapsed, or there we go, expired event that's still stored somewhere in our brain. Many times it's not stored, according to scientists, with 100% accuracy. It breaks down over time. So some of our recollections that we're having are not accurate. According to some scientists, they are filtered reconstructions. Powerful, 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 powerful thing. We kind of discussed that last week. But I want to focus and hone in tonight on belief systems, which are the blueprint of experience. Belief systems are the blueprint of experience. So we're going to take some time tonight to talk to you about the power blueprint of beliefs. Mark 9:23 NIV, if thou canst believe, all things are possible to him that believe it, or to the one who believes. Let's see, make sure I get this. That is what is mentioned uh, in the King James, in the NIV version. Thank you for that. And then we look at the King James version. Yeshua said unto him, if thou canst believe, all things are possible to him that believeth. All right. So here we go. Revisiting this text, going to continue to revisit. And remember, we shared some principles not just spiritual, but scientific, not just spiritual or metaphysical, but scientific principles that support this superb spiritual consciousness that existed thousands of years ago. These principles didn't just begin when Yeshua uttered it in Mark 9:23. They are predated in previous mystics and sages that were on the earth before he entered history. And so we are discussing the power of beliefs tonight. And of course, if you read the blog articles and have listened to some of the teaching, I did take the opportunity to equate the confirmation of quantum mechanics and quantum physics with beliefs, more specifically, Mark 9:23, to help us to understand that these things are real from a spiritual and physical sense, from a sense of spiritual principles and also a sense of natural principles. It works. This is real. This is a part of how our reality is created. I'm not going to go back through the double slit experiment or the observer effect. I've talked about it quite often. It's mentioned again numerous times in the blogs and the previous teachings. But I'm going to pick up with belief systems. So I want you to type it in the comment section. Belief systems, the blueprint of experience. I want you to type that in the comment section. Belief systems, the blueprint of experience. Belief systems, the blueprint of experience. So we must understand that our experiences don't simply unfold, they are constructed. And the blueprint behind this construction is our belief system. Oh my goodness. Like the invisible code that runs a computer program, beliefs shape how we interpret reality, what we expect, and ultimately what we experience. Now, William James is not just a philosopher. Believe it or not, William James is considered to be the father of psychology. A lot of people give that to Sigmund Freud, but it's really William James. And he says, belief creates the actual fact, end quote, from William James, The Will to Believe, 1896. So, what I want you to understand is that our belief systems act as inner architects, drawing upon the unseen plans from which our outer world is built. Now, remember when I broke down, thank you for typing in the comment section, when I broke down and showed you the connection between the observer effect from the double slit experiment and Mark 9:23, we could see that faith in its purest form exists within us as a spiritual being in what's called superposition, which means in superposition, it has no assignment, no physical assignment. So it exists in a state of infinite potentiality, infinite potential. It can be whatever it is the observer, or in our case, the believer, designed or desires for it to be. Because on that subatomic level, from quantum mechanics, subatomic particles don't act according to Newtonian or Cartesian physics. Their movements cannot be projected like they thought they were. They cannot be predicted, excuse me, like it was previously thought. That's a Newtonian model. But once they cracked the barrier or cracked the seal or cracked the veil of the quantum world, they start realizing that subatomic particles can be in more than one place at the same time. And of course, they don't have a linear, predictable path. They can be in one place one moment and in another place another moment. But they also understood or observed through this double slit experiment, the observer effect, that when the particles, the subatomic particles, were observed, they changed their behavior, exhibiting consciousness. So the scientists begin to understand that it is their observation with the intention that had an impact on the subatomic particles and caused it to change its behavior. It came into alignment with those who were observing it. All right. Before it becomes a particle, it exists in waves. form, which is superposition, which is infinite potential. It is not yet a physical form, it is an energetic form, but it can be anything, hear me, the observer, in our case, the believer, intends or with intention imprints on it to be. I hope you all are taking this in right now. Again, I'll remind you, family, I am talking about these principles intentionally. I am pushing the envelope because some of y'all think that you can only do this stuff if you're religious. Some people think you can only do this stuff if you're Christian. You only have master over these things if you're a part of a certain religious sect. It's not true. As a spiritual being, all spiritual beings who possess a soul and live in a body, who are here on this planet, those we know as humans and otherwise, there is a power and an authority over matter. There's a power and an authority, a distinct connection with matter, even on the subatomic level, that our thoughts, our voices, our intention is what is causing reality to be. So that wave, remember, collapses and becomes a particle, which is a representation of something that is physical. All right. I want you to type in the comment section. I want you to type in the comment section. Faith is in superposition before it is given an assignment. Faith exists in superposition before it is given an assignment. And I say that because you and I, as spirit beings, before we decide what we're going to use faith for, it exists in a state that, in terms of, it has not been given an assignment of a body, an assignment of what it is, an assignment of being, an assignment of a thing, an assignment of a place, an assignment of a desire. It exists in pure potential until we observe it with faith. Talk back to me. I need to see some likes and hearts. Am I making any sense to anybody? Am I making any sense to anybody? So in psychology, belief systems are often divided into core beliefs and surface beliefs. Core beliefs are deeply embedded ideas we hold about ourselves, others, in the world. For example, I am not enough, or people can't be trusted. Powerful. Surface beliefs are more situational or logical. You might say, I don't like public speaking. According to CBT, or cognitive behavioral therapy, these beliefs are responsible for emotional reactions and behavioral patterns. Dr. Anbeck, who is um, a guru, a legend in the cognitive behavioral therapy field, said every emotion and behavior is preceded by a thought or belief. I'm going to say it again. Every emotion and behavior is preceded by a thought or belief. I want somebody to type that in the comment section. I'm going to say it slower. Every emotion and behavior is preceded by a thought or belief. Wow. Every emotion and behavior is preceded by a thought or belief. Let me see if that's been typed in the comment section so I can put it up. Somebody else just did this from the last one. Thank you so much. Every emotion and behavior is preceded by a thought or belief. Let's discuss that for a few minutes. We're in spiritual awakening, we're in spiritual studies. This is relevant because you and I don't do anything that's not connected to a belief. And we don't feel anything that's not connected to a belief. Hear me. Even if you don't know why you feel a certain way on a certain day, I want you to understand there is something happening in you that's connected to a belief that's causing you to feel that way, unless it's something like sickness. And even then, stress and things like that that lead to diseases, many doctors believe start with stress, aka our interpretation in our thought world of our lifestyles or the life that we're living. Powerful, powerful, powerful thing to consider. So every emotion and behavior is preceded by a thought or belief. The man in Mark 9 was challenged with unbelief and challenged with thoughts that his son could not be delivered, his son could not be helped. He came to the master believing he had the solution, but yet struggled in the moment to believe within himself that the solution could be exacted or exercised in that moment. I want you to understand you and I do the things we do based on emotion, okay? Based on, excuse me, thoughts, which are beliefs. We feel the way we feel, we behave the way we behave based on thoughts and beliefs. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. This is proven in the various different branches of study. Why is this relevant? Why is this important? Because to change our lived experience, we must investigate and rewire the belief system driving it. You're not going to change your lived experience if you do not change, family, if you do not investigate and then rewire the belief system that is driving it. Am I making any sense to anybody? People think, again, they think I can go to the altar and snap my fingers and it's going to be changed. There are some changes that happen, but I'm going to tell you 99% of the time when it comes down to what's going on up here, they're not sustainable changes because the thoughts will return if they're not properly addressed, even after you got a touch, slid down the floor, had oil put on you, gave a whole bunch of money to sow a seed to be made whole and delivered. It's not going nowhere for the most part. Yes, we believe in miracles, so things can happen like that instantaneously, but in most cases they don't. And even though we feel better 10 days later, 10 hours later, 10 weeks later, 10 months later, that thought with that emotion sometimes pops back up again, and then people find themselves feeling discouraged again. It's because they did not put in the proper inner work to rewire the belief system. They didn't investigate deeply enough, and they didn't put themselves in the process to rewire the belief system. I want you to understand that you and I feel and act the way we feel because of our belief systems. And the way we change that is to rewire it. And there are different ways we can discuss later as to how we rewire it. So, number two, as we're discussing release systems, the blueprint of experience, a neuroscientific basis, beliefs and brain wiring. Beliefs are not just abstract imaginary things, they are embedded in architecture, the neuroplastic architecture of the brain. When a belief is repeatedly or emotionally charged, it forms neural networks that become stronger over time, like grooves carved in a path. So, neuroplasticity means these networks can change. So, the more we think something and charge it with an emotion, all right, it forms neural networks. And neuroscientists kind of like forming these neural pathways like new grooves in your brain. Remember, they have to be emotionally charged. So this is why, for example, the lowest of the lows in our lives are so emotionally charged. And because they're so emotionally charged in a negative way, they stick with us longer. We also have, on the opposite end of that spectrum, wonderful events that are highly positively charged that also stay with us a long time. But most people don't struggle with the positivity, they struggle with the negativity. The event, whether it was a fight, whether it was rejection, whether it was abandonment, whether it was abuse, whether it was rape or molestation, whether it was you experiencing moments of hating yourself, suicidal, depressive moments, they're charged with emotion. And when they're charged with emotion, watch this. This charging with emotion or by emotion has to happen repeatedly. I want you to understand that this is a pattern within us. So when this is done repeatedly, not only is the brain trained, but the body is trained that this is the state that you go to when you have certain thoughts or certain experiences in your life that you interpret as antagonistic or adversarial or bad or not good, or then you start feeling not just here but in here a whole body experience of misery, a whole body experience of pain. It's because we've done that thousands and thousands and thousands of times over the course of weeks, months, and years. Talk back to me. Am I making any sense to anybody? So I want you to understand that this is done by repetition. This is done over and over again. The power of the next thing I'm going to say, which is a part of the brain called the reticular activating system, it filters information to align with our dominant beliefs, showing us what matches and hiding what doesn't. So I want you to type this in the comment section. The brain filters information to align with our dominant beliefs. Type that in the comment section. The brain filters information to align with our dominant beliefs. Type that in the comment section. The brain filters information to align with our dominant beliefs. Thank you for that. The brain filters information to align with our dominant beliefs. So, would somebody real quickly um, maybe type it in a comment section what you consider to be negative or positive? It doesn't matter. A dominant, what you have identified in your life that might be a dominant belief. That might be a dominant belief. And I'm going to work from there. I'm going to work from your example. So, would somebody real quickly be transparent and just type it in the comment section what you may have identified as a dominant belief, something that might be positive or negative. And I'm going to work from that real quickly, real quickly, and give you an illustration and example. All right. Let's see. Hillary says that if I do good, good will always return to me. So if your experiences in the past, if you've adopted a belief system and then you've encoded this belief system in your brain by charging it with positive emotions, which gives you a positive outlook, which defines your experience as that if I do good, good will always return to me. So in that moment, excuse me, when something happens, people will validate the next experience being good in this instance because they've done good. So if you're not careful, the brain will remind you that you've done good. Sometimes it'll remind you of the things that you did good. And it will say, based on you doing good, this situation here that's not so good can't stop us, can't hinder us, can't limit us because we've done enough good to produce more good that's going to trump or supersede this current event that I'm looking at and facing right now. That's this savory, not so tasty, not so tasteful. That is very distasteful. Am I making any sense? That person has charged this thought with an emotion over and over and over and over and over again. All right. That because I'm doing good, good things must happen for me. Good things will happen for me no matter what's going on in my life. All right. Are you hearing what I'm saying? So what's going to happen is this person, the reticular activating system, which is a part of the brain, is going to filter out negative, a lot of negative stuff that's happening in that moment. And instead of that person who is the opposite of a person who might have a belief that even if I do good, stuff always happens to me and things never work out in my favor. That person right there, or things are always, it's always hard for me to get what I want, and I'm always doing good and helping people. That person, the reticular activating system, is not going to consider good in the moment. It's going to allow the negative information to come in. It's going to filter out anything that could appear to be a bright side in the moment. The illustration that Hillary gave us, that reticular activating system is going to be in a moment of bad negative things. It may mourn, it may cry, but it's going to filter out what could potentially be negative, what could potentially overwhelm the psychological construct in the moment because it's not welcome. And it's only going to try and focus on the positive in the situation because I've done good, because I am a good person. Did I illustrate that well enough for you to understand? Talk back to me. Anybody else have any examples you want me to work from real quickly of some dominant thoughts that you've had, uh, good or bad? Some dominant thoughts that you've had. Thank you, Hillary, for sharing that with us. Thank you for sharing that with us. Dr. Joe Dispenza says neurons that fire together, wire together. Change your thoughts, and you can change your brain and your life. I'll repeat it again. He's a great scientist. Neurons that fire together, wire together. So he's saying that the neurons for these thoughts and emotions, when the thoughts and the emotions are collaborative or coalesce together in the moment, then they are enmeshed from then on in future moments. And that groove and that pathway is created. So when you have the thought, you have the emotion, or if you have the emotion, the thought has to pop up because now they're entangled. And he goes on to say, change your thoughts, and you can change your brain and your life. Okay. So let me say this. I want you to type it in the comment section. Let's pick one out. We got a few minutes left. I'm not going to even try and get into. So I'll just pick this up next Wednesday. I have some more some good stuff. We're at the neuroscientific basis, beliefs and brain wiring. So we're just going to stop here. Next week I'll get into the quantum implication of observation and belief. So let's hang our hats here. I want you to type it in the comment section. The effects of long-term financial struggle. Type that in the comment section. The effects of long term financial struggle. I want you to type that in the comment section. The effects of long-term financial struggle. Here we go. So as we're going to finish up here, I'm going to take the next 10 to 15 minutes and work from this point of the neuroscientific basis, beliefs, and brain wiring. Let's look at a scenario here. Matter of fact, I forgot to put my wonderful screen up. Let me put this up real quick. Talking about belief systems, the blueprint of experience. Okay. Let me get to my next one before I break it down. Our belief systems are the mental frameworks we use to interpret the world and give meaning to our experiences. These deep seated convictions shape how we perceive, behave, and interact with our surroundings. The next slide, like a blueprint, the construction of a building, our belief systems influence how our life unfold. They determine what opportunities we recognize, the decisions we make, and the actions we take. Look at this right here. Because again, some of y'all putting that on Yeshua. Some of y'all putting that on God. Some of y'all putting that on other people. This is your belief. We're at Mark 9:23. Again, because Yeshua is telling this man, you exist in superposition with faith. The outcome is determined by what you believe. The outcome is determined by what you, in the position you're in, how you collapse that wave into a particle, how you collapse that wave into a physical experience. Did you catch that? People, again, are deflecting. Type in the comment section, deflecting. Type the word deflecting in the comment section. Let me tell you something that I grow to learn more and more and more in my experience. I don't deflect as much as I used to. I don't deflect as much as I used to because I honestly believe that I am co-creating the reality. And if something shows up that I don't like, it's most likely coming from me and out of me. I know that's deep for some of y'all, but it's the truth. When people deflect, you're not accurately reflecting. If you're not accurately reflecting, then you're going to inaccurately manifest. If you're not accurately reflecting, you're going to inaccurately manifest. So stop deflecting. Stop not wanting to hear constructive criticism. Stop not wanting to accept the onus of responsibility. Stop denying stuff when you see it in you or in other people you love. Just own it and then confront it. All right. Then reflect in that confrontation accurately by giving yourself love and grace. And then start figuring out, how do I rewire myself? Not to utilize or put to use this emotion every time. So what we believe can either create opportunities or close doors. It's going to impact our decision to believe we can have something or not have it, to pursue something or not pursue it, to attract something or not attract it. It influences all our decisions, family. And it's going to determine the actions we take. I'm going to get to my last slide in a minute. I brought up the effect of long-term financial struggles because the brain and the body are trained to both react, mainly react to when we're in this situation. So what happens to us, and I know about this. How can I talk about this? Because I've lived it for years, and I've come out. I've come out of it in terms of my thinking, and I still have my moments. But the blessed part about it now is that I have ascended, and I recognize it. I metacognize the moment and understand, okay, that repeat, that rerun, that reflection, that poor reflection that's trying to uh, manifest an inaccurate manifestation or an inaccurate creation, I got to stop it now. So when you've been struggling financially a long time, there's a lot of sadness attached to that. There's a lot of anger attached to that. There's a lot of discouragement attached to that. There's a lot of guilt attached to that. There's a lot of dissatisfaction attached to that. There's a lot of feeling powerless that's attached to that. Your thoughts are triggered, and then you feel these things in your emotional, as an emotional being, or the emotion comes up immediately when you look at your checking account and start realizing I'm coming up short. What it's going to do, the brain and the body are going to refer back to your history. If your reticular activating system is not programmed properly, and most of the time ours aren't, if we have a poor relationship with money, and if we have a poor self-identity, watch this, and we have this unhealthy codependence on God to think that, oh, everything is going to happen from the Almighty. No, the Almighty made you like him, things come from you. And so you're thinking in one respect, well, it hadn't happened, the Almighty's not going to do it. And you're saying in the next respect, I sure can't do it. And I'm so tired of this and this, that, and the other, and I can't. And oh, blah, blah, blah. And we have these meltdowns and depression, and then people need to, they need to do drugs or drink or smoke weed, having some sex or something just to feel better about themselves or do something crazy. Then you come back to it, the body returns to the state of misery because this is a cycle that has been created. That's a coping mechanism because we believe, watch this, that we've always struggled, we're going to continue to struggle, and we believe we don't have enough resources. Hear me. And we believe we're not powerful enough or graced enough or favored enough or don't make enough on the job or don't have enough opportunities, or we believe we have too many responsibilities or too many dependents or not enough help. Well, I feel something. When you believe that, you continue to manifest more of that. There's a few people on here that I talk to personally, and they will admit to you that when I bring these points up and you stop focusing on that and start focusing on what you know and what you believe you have, when I say no, I mean knowing that it's done, or knowing that this is not a hindrance, knowing this is not a limitation, knowing that I am creating and manifesting this, knowing that I'm in charge. At first, there's a lot of resistance to that. But when you catch a hold of that and start rewiring your brain and rewiring your body, you start feeling better. And then you're more open to realize that possibilities are there for me. Wow. Na, 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 ma. Shukunda di, 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 an, sata, na, ma. I need to say this to you. I need to say this to you. I heard this from a creator, but it's been on me for the last several months to say this to you. Stop thinking, family. You got to work hard for everything. I know there's a lot of motivational speakers out there telling you that. You know why? Because that has been the mantra of the world for thousands of years. But it's a mantra that's linear. It's not spiritual. It's linear. I'm going to say it again. It's not spiritual. It's not metaphysical. You are designed, yes, to have a corresponding action, what I call an inspired action that comes from the mental, the spiritual, and then the mental. You get an idea, and then you're inspired to follow it up with action. Yes, action is necessary at times, but you create it first in the spiritual and the mental. Hear me. If you've ever received the Cash App, let me ask you a question. Anybody in here ever received the Cash App gift money from Cash App or Zelle or someplace like that? Let me see it in the comment section. Anybody on here ever received cash from Cash App or Zelle or any of the other services that you can use to send or receive money. Let me see that in the comment section. And maybe it came for your birthday, or maybe it was somebody just thinking about you. Let me see. Let me see. Okay. So if that's the case, you know what that means? Does anybody know what that means? Do I have to say it? Let me see who's going to tell me what that means real quickly. We got a few minutes left. Who's going to tell me what that means? Quickly. What does that mean? Look at all the yeses. So we got some witnesses here. Tell me what that means real quickly. Can anybody tell me what that means? Okay, y'all moving kind of slow. Let's see here. So what I want to say is, maybe somebody will chime in. What that means is, when that happens on your birthday, when that happens, as we say, out of the blue, you didn't work for that. You didn't work a job to receive that $20. You didn't work a job to receive that $50. You didn't work a job to receive that $500. You didn't work a job to receive that $100. You didn't sweat for it. It was given to you. You manifested income. You received income without moving a finger. Do you see that? When you get unexpected checks, unexpected direct deposits, if people walk up to you and hand you cash, you didn't work for that. Are you hearing me? If you prayed or meditated about financial abundance and financial increase, or you declared and decreed and spoke out of your mouth, and money came, you didn't work for that, unless you had to work extra overtime, or unless it meant a new job. Groceries. Come on now, hear what I'm saying today. Understand that if you keep thinking I got to do things linearly to manifest money, then that's going to always be your outcome. Is that if I don't do enough movement in this 3D, then I don't get much. And hear me, the key is working it out inside, living it, seeing it, embracing it by faith first. And then there's going to be an inspired action, either that's going to take place through somebody else or through you. Sometimes it comes as an idea. Are you hearing me? Sometimes you'll end up in a conversation and a person will hear about your situation and boom, there it is. But you didn't work for that. Come on, somebody, help me here. Y'all quiet. Look like Hillary, the only one talking right now. If you ever received any money, even to help pay a bill or whatever, you did not work for that. Mm. And there's a lot of times, if you keep it real, family, these people, before you reach out to them or they reach out to you, they will say, you know what, you really been on my mind. I've really been thinking about you. And you're like, what? Really? You know why? Because the creator, the source and sustainer is organizing and orchestrating, watch this, sweatless manifestation, sweatless increase through people, through entities, through beings, to bless you. So I want us to develop the mindset. You listen to me. It's just like the magic of compound interest is this. Let me put it in financial terms. The magic of compound interest is this: when you make an investment of any sort in the right place, hear me, it is not the investor's actions of working extra hours that makes that $1,000 investment, or that $1,000 investment turn to $100,000. It's not them, oh, I'm working, oh, I got to work extra hours so I could, this can turn to $100,000. If you run into an investor and they just put $1,000 in a stock or in a business startup or whatever, and they sweating every day, and you say, well, why are you sweating? Well, I just put $1,000 in, so I gotta sweat to make this investment work out. People who work in that industry are gonna look at you like you're crazy, because they realize it's not the physical that multiplies it. You put it in a place, family, Once that stock rises or that Bitcoin rises, stocks are attached to compound interest. That kind of stuff starts kicking in. You know what happens? The money multiplies because of the principle. It multiplies because of the laws of investment. And the only thing you did was make one investment, and the rest is done within the financial system, the financial framework, the investment system, the investment framework. Am I making any sense to anybody? You'll look up in 2 years, or you look up in 1 year, and that 1,000 is now 5,000, or that 1,000 is now 10,000. Somebody was talking the other day on the show about the late great Kobe Bryant, whom I truly had a great deal of respect for. I think they say he invested like 8 million. I think that was Under Armour. It was like $8 million. One of his friends, who who's a superstar in the league, was telling the story how Kobe got with them and told them we need to put our money in a fund and start investing in certain things. He invested 8 million, family. It turned into like 400, 200, 300, 400 million. He didn't have to work for that once he made the move. His faith, hear me, he was guided to it. His faith said, release it, plant it here. And then as the business flourished, his investment multiplied without him lifting another finger. So let me go back. So when you've been dealing with financial scarcity for years, you go back to a default setting if you have not corrected it. The reticular activating system that we talked about in the brain is going to say to you, here we go again. So here's what I want you to see. Here's what I want you to see. There's a blessing waiting for you on the other side. You can't see it. I see it I've been in a have been in a state of blindness where I couldn't see it, but I deal with people all the time who can't see what I'm seeing. I know that if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change, according to Dr. Wayne Dyer. Again, Mark 9:23 is spiritual metaphysical principle, a quantum mechanics, quantum physics principle of the observer effect. I can see though, as a seer and somebody who's prophetic, that the answer is right there. It's standing right next to them. They can't see it. It's already in them. They can't see it. The solution is already done. So just like you can choose to focus and filter out all the good, you can also choose to change your focus and believe that good is going to manifest for you regardless. But what ends up happening is that when our brains are trained a certain way, we can't see the good, at least momentarily. Sometimes we catch ourselves. It might take us 5 minutes, might take us 5 hours. Sometimes it might take us 5 days, but we catch ourselves and, oh, I got to believe this. Yeah, okay, this is done. But your brain is immediately going to shift to the state that it's used to existing in when you encounter these kinds of situations. And your head is going to be drooped, and your steps are going to be slow and heavy, and your mind is going to feel like there's a million pounds, and you're going to feel like there's unlimited weight on your shoulders. I'm describing it accurately because I've been there thousands of times in my life. I know it's true. Am I making any sense to anybody? That belief in that moment is, for whatever reason, this looks hopeless, or I'm just tired, or I'm just fatigued, or I just can never get ahead, or it's just like it's not meant for me to prosper. It's like I'm always being left out. We have all kinds of beliefs that rush to the surface. I'm just not good with money. I'm just terrible with money. Are you hearing me? All kinds of beliefs rush to the surface. Some folks start thinking about the stuff they did wrong, and don't get me wrong. Sometimes there's a misappropriation of funds in folks' life, but you can't let that stop you either, because the Almighty is not sitting back talking about where they misappropriated funds, so I can't bless them. Yeah, you should be faithful over a few things so you can be ruled over many, but God's not keeping score against you. And there's a lot of folk who wasted money, but they know how to replace it because they believe that when they spend it, it's coming back to them. Oh, that's a whole nother subject. But if The reticular activating system is trained to take you back to a state of confusion, take you back to a state of depression. Then guess what you're going to shift to? Guess what your whole mood in your body is going to shift to? It's going to shift to that. And that's why it's good to talk to the right people. Because when we're in that funk, FUNK, when we're in that mode, our brains are blocking out opportunities, blocking out God, blocking out how powerful you are, blocking out how unlimited you are, blocking out solutions because it only is trained to focus on what it considers to be a problem and all the misery and pain you felt over the years when you encountered this financial scarcity, this financial issue, or these financial issues. Wow. And let me say this, happiness should never be equated with money. There's a lot of people who don't have. We grew up with people that weren't rich or successful, but there was a lot of people we grew up with that were happy, either happy in their relationship with the Almighty, happy with their families, sometimes happy with themselves, and they were barely making it from week to week. But they believed somehow, some way, miracles would pop up when they were necessary to provide for them. And they were just as happy as could be. And sometimes we're making double and triple what they made and miserable. See ourselves as failures, see ourselves as cut off from the ability to rectify, change the situation. Watch this, because of what somebody else did, because of what somebody else did give us, or because of a mistake we made, then the whole body says, yep, yep, you just this, you just that. You're going to always go through this. And the reason it's like this, because folk won't do this. And the reason it's like this, if I had just had the opportunity, if I had just not turned the corner there, if I had just not taken this job, if I had just not had these kids, if I had just not gotten married, if I had just went to school an extra year, this would be different. Hear me. And there's no guarantee none of it will be different if you still have this mindset you have today about who you are, your identity, the identity of the creator, source, and sustainer in your life, your collaboration with the creator. If that's faulty and flawed in your belief system, then you would have money, but when you encounter problems, there will still be this looming darkness and gloominess in you that will produce clouds over your head. My Lord, today. My Lord, today. That reticular activating system, am I making sense? It has been trained to go into a cave when this happens. It has been trained to complain when this happens. It has been trained to whine when this happens. It has been trained to raise 10 levels of hell when this happens. It has been trained to be frustrated and angry. It has been trained to curse the darkness and curse in the midst of the darkness. It has been trained to flop, to flounder. It has been trained to finger point. Come on now, somebody. We talked about it tonight. This is scientifically proven. So I want you to see and understand, all right, what we discussed tonight in terms of the quote, the quotation from Dr. Joe Dispenza, neurons that fire together, wire together. Change your thoughts and you can change your brain and your life. And again, I broke that down to you in terms of the neural networks in the brain, the neuroplastic architecture, the forming of these things, how emotion and thought and emotion are attached. They are entangled and then stored in memory. And when we relive these events, then it's either a thought that triggers an emotion or an emotion that triggers a thought. But watch this, we get to change that. I want you to type it in the comment section. I can change how I respond to any situation. Type that in the comment section. I can change how I respond to any situation. And let me tell you, it takes discipline. It takes, yes, 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 yes. Um, at times, doing some things that feel uncomfortable to you. It's uncomfortable to you because you haven't trained or haven't been trained psychologically. Look at the screen real quick about dimensions of belief. They're psychological. It informs our perceptions and interpretations of reality. See this. They're scientific. These are functions as cognitive filters for processing information. I'm talking about that right now. And then they're spiritual, shapes our sense of meaning and purpose in life. Some people honestly feel in the moment that they're struggling. They feel like crap spiritually. They feel like the God they believe in and the power they possess and the powerful person that they are, they really aren't that. And they lament and start nitpicking themselves and picking out, stuff they should have done better and stuff they didn't do. It's not about any of that. It's about you having trained yourself to be this person. If things don't go right, this is how you feel pretty much 99% of the time. Hallelujah. I get to change what happens. Paul said, forgetting those things which are behind. And I think I touched on that a little bit on Sunday. Reaching forward to those things which are before. The word forgetting means to lose out of mind. In modern day vernacular, we would talk about dismissing or taking power from thoughts and withdrawing energetic emotion from the thought. We would retrain it either with scripture, or we would retrain it with something that's positive, or we would retrain it with something that informs and educates us as to who and what we are in this present construct, in this simulation, in this matrix. We will retrain ourselves to understand the power of who and what we are and recognize that our focus is what collapses the wave into a particle of reality, a particle of solid substance, a particle that's morphed into a a situation or a situationship. Did you catch that? It is our observation, whether the belief is positive or the belief is negative, we are helping co-create the outcome of it. And if by chance you can retrain yourself, and I had to do that over the last several weeks with some things I was dealing with, went on that. I was led to go on an extended uh, liquid fast. You don't have to do that. You can just take it. But I had to do both. And when these thoughts, these urges start coming, and this depression and whatever that I had pretty much mastered, but it was showing up in these insecurities, I had to intentionally say, nope, nope, nope. Like I'm talking now, this is how I was talking to myself. Nope, we're switching this to a positive emotion. We're not going to feel negative when we look at this. We're not going to feel negative when we interpret this, or we're not going to let the negative thought be negative. No, we're changing it to positive. I'm getting ready to change what I'm seeing by reframing it. Did you hear me? Did you hear me? Romans 8:28 is one of my favorite texts of all time, no matter what. I just believe all things work together for the good. You have to know. You have to know within yourself. And if that's your focus and your intention, hear me. You're looking at financial scarcity. This thing is popping up in your thoughts and emotions, is starting to drag you down. Then that's when you have to say in a moment, create a pattern disruption. Even if you had to talk to yourself, which is a good thing to do because it breaks up the thoughts and breaks up the emotions. Say, nope, it's working for my good. Hear me. It's always worked for my good. It will continue to always work for my good. Come on now. I'm talking to some miracles on here right now. I'm going to say it again. I know I'm talking to some miracles on here. I am talking to people who've been through hell and high water. I'm talking to folk who come from the streets. I'm talking to some folks who've had guns put on them. I'm talking to people who've been beat half to death. I'm talking to folk who've been rejected by family. Come on here. I'm talking to people who've been raped and molested. I'm talking to all kinds of folk. Hear me. And you made it. It worked out. You came through it. You might have had some scars, but somehow, some way you held on to some faith, or you got a hold of some faith, or you got a hold of something. Come on here, somebody. And you are here. Remember, just like that, those other 500 situations in your past, some of you got thousands like me, worked out for the good. At some point in time, it came to you, maybe in the middle of the situation. Hey, it's worked out for my good in the past. It's working out for my good right now. And the good is that the outcome is in my favor. Hear me. Money's manifesting from somewhere. I'm not going to allow a negative emotion, a pessimistic thought to trigger me. Watch this. I got files of good stuff happening to me. I got miracle files. Y'all got miracle files in your head right now. I want you to type it in the comment section. I have miracle files. Type that in the comment section. I got to get off here. Type, I have miracle files. You know I'm telling the truth. You know I'm telling the truth. Type it in the comment section. I got miracle files, Files. I got miracle files because you do. Right now, if I ask, hear me, I could, if I brought everybody on here tonight to give their testimony, we'd be on here another 2 hours. You know why? Because everybody in here got miracle files in their lives, miracle files in their memory. You done been through some stuff and come out of it. Hear what I'm saying today. Some of y'all been left. You've been lied on, you've been cheated on by people, but it flipped and worked out for you good. Some of y'all had your name scandalized, but it flipped and worked out for you good. Some of y'all have almost died from physical ailments, but it flipped and worked out for you good. Some folk tried to destroy your reputation, but it gave you a better reputation. Some people tried to cut off your finances, but it opened other opportunities for finances. Did you catch what I just said? Some people tried to destroy your mind, but God hooked you up with people who, instead of trying to destroy you, are recreating your mind. You loved with all you had and received less love in return. Hear me. You exited that situation and got into a situation that's head and shoulders exorbitantly beyond what you've asked or thought, and it's working according to the power within you. And somehow, some way, some point in time, family, good manifested for you. And you know why? Because you believed it. You believed there's got to be some good that's happening. Come on now. You literally believe good is going to create great. Watch this. You literally believe that good releases the greater, good releases the great God, or good releases the great provision. Watch this. Some of you all learned that good taught you how powerful you have been made to be. And you took that faith and you persevered. Come on now. And you worked it. Woo! You worked it, family, until it shifted. You worked it until you could literally feel the shift. Then you could see the shift. Then you experienced the shift. Hey, hey, hey. Come on now. Come on now. Because you believed it. And I'm telling you right now, because I'm a strong believer in this. Don't let nobody talk you out of your faith. Faith is delusional to people. Well, how you gonna make it? I don't have to know how I'm gonna make it. It's not my business. I just know it's done. I have had to live that many times in my life. And there are times, and we had to understand. You say, yeah, I'm just tired of living like that. Yeah, 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 yeah. Well, you're gonna learn how to live in abundance and plenty, but until you manifest that, use what you know works. And your faith in observing with an intention to create an outcome that you know is already done with a collaborative partner of your creator, your source, and your sustainer, hearing me, is a winning formula for you every time. And if it's not broke, then don't fix it. If it's working, then why are you changing it? Woo, my God. The master said, it's according to your faith. Oh, my goodness. It's according to your faith. So be it unto you. Oh, my goodness. My goodness. I got to get out of here. I got to get out of here. I got to go. Don't want to go, but got to go. Talk to me. Did the message find you? Did the teaching find you? Did it resonate in you? Some of y'all are empowered right now. You're strengthened right now. There's a presence. There's a divine presence moving in you right now, moving on your behalf right now. I'm telling you right now, some of y'all have changed the way you looked at that situation before you logged on tonight. And that's why tomorrow, and that's why next week, you're going to see something differently because you changed your focus. And you retrain your heart, and you retrain your brain, and you retrain your thoughts, and you retrain your emotions to line up with faith, to line up with what you're creating. Hey, my God, somebody hear me today. Who is this teaching for? Who is the creator, source, and sustainer talking to today? Shatataba. Unanamandi. I feel that so strongly, my family. I want you to take some time. You've already begun to change the way you look at it. When we get off this broadcast tonight, I want you to take 10 or 15 minutes to yourself, if you can. And whatever the situation is, I want you to practice observing it in a vision differently, seeing it in a vision differently, experiencing yourself in that vision with the outcome that you created by permission of the creator. I guarantee you that's faith creating. That's faith taking out its paintbrush and creating a magnificent drawing, a magnificent picture. Hear me, on the canvas of the spiritual, the metaphysical, that's going to be transduced into the natural. Hear me, it all starts and lives within you. Oh my goodness, I feel it. I feel it. Because you decided to move away from the doubters. You decided to move away from the negative outcome. And you decided to focus on the power that you possess, the power that you've been given. Hear me, the authority that you already have, and the ability to use your faith and cause it to be just as you saw it. Because if thou canst believe, family, all things are possible to him that believeth. All right, those are the giving opportunities on the screen right now. $AG Green, $AG Green Enterprises. And if you desire, I should say, to give by Zelle, look at the scrolling ticker at the bottom of the screen and use my email address. Love y'all so dearly. It sounds like the message has impacted many of you on in a positive way. I'm so grateful to love on you, to serve you, to teach you in this capacity. If you came on late, make sure you go back and watch it all the way through. And if you know somebody who can use this teaching and this message and this presentation tonight, make sure you share the link by text, through social media, or tagging them. All right. Thank you all so much. I'm going to release you with the shalom blessing. I'm already over time. Shalom, shalom, peace, wholeness, prosperity, nothing missing, nothing broken. It is so, and so it is. Love you. See many of you all in a few days.